Good evening, everyone. Hi, welcome. Stand a bit. Oops. Good evening. Oh, hi, thanks for the hearts. Welcome to another reading of 1001 Nights. My name is Saman, Giraud, and I'll be your host this evening. We took some 3 weeks to recharge and rest. Back in the days, we used to call this vacation. That was prior to the pandemic. That term has died ever since, it feels. However, I heard it'll come back under new terms and conditions, and I'm pretty sure we're all looking forward to that. If you are new in here, Joanna and I started reading the books of 1001 Nights in March 2020 during the first lockdown in Austria. We did stop counting the lockdowns as of now, obviously. And why do I say books? Because the original 1001 Nights stories are several volumes, and we are the first ones to do that. So it will be on the internet forever and ever, and you can watch it forever and ever, as often as you like. You'll find all the videos on YouTube and on Facebook on Vienna Theatre Project's page. And we also do have a PayPal account. So if you do not enjoy the readings, feel free to leave a token of appreciation for our tenacity here. We are at volume 4, the story of Din Abu Al Shamat. I hope I said that correctly. And yeah, we shall continue. Okay. Right. Enjoy the reading. Now when it was the 253rd night, she said, "It hath reached me, O auspicious king, that Ala al-Din said to his mother, of a truth, all the sons of the merchants put me to shame, and said, naught is more honourable for a merchant's son than travel for gain. O my son, hast thou a mind to travel? Even so. And whither wilt thou go? To the city of Baghdad, for there folk make double the cost price on their goods. O my son, thy father is a very rich man, and if he provide thee not with merchandise, I will supply it out of my own monies. The best favour is that which is soonest bestowed. If this kindness is to be, now is the time." So she called the slaves and sent them for cloth packers. Then, opening a storehouse, brought out 10 loads of stuffs, which they made up into bales for him. Such was his case. But as regards his father, Shams al-Din, he looked about and failed to find Ala al-Din in the garden, and inquiring after him, was told that he had mounted mule and gone home. So he too mounted and followed him. Now when he entered the house, he saw the bales ready bound and asked what they were, whereupon his wife told him what had chanced between Ala al-Din and the sons of the merchants. And he cried, "O my son, Allah's malison on travel and strangerhood. Verily Allah's apostle, whom the Lord bless and preserve, hath said, it is of a man's happy fortune that he eat his daily bread in his own land. And it was said of the ancients, leave, travel, though but for a mile. Then quoth he to his son, say, art thou indeed resolved to travel, and wilt thou not turn back from it? Quoth the other, there is no help for it, but that I journey to Baghdad with merchandise, else will I doff clothes and don dervish gear, and fare a wandering over the world. Shams al-Din rejoined, I am no penniless pauper, but have great plenty of wealth. Then he showed him all he owned of monies and stuffs and stock in trade, and observed, with me are stuffs and merchandise befitting every country in the world. Then he showed him among the rest 40 bales ready bound with the price 1,000 dinars, written on each, and said, O my son, take these 40 loaves, together with the 10 which thy mother gave thee, and set out under the safeguard of Almighty Allah. But, O my child, I fear for thee a certain wood in thy way, called the Lion's Copse, and a valley hight the Vale of Dogs, for their lives are lost without mercy. He said, How so, O my father? And he replied, Because of a Badawi bandit named Ajlan. Quoth Ala al-Din, Such is Allah's luck. If any share of it be mine, no harm shall hap to me. Then they rode to the cattle bazaar, where behold, a cameleer alighted from his she-mule, and, kissing the consul's hand, said to him, O my lord, it is long by Allah since thou hast employed us in the way of business. He replied, Every time hath its fortune and its man, and Allah hath wrath on him who said, And the old man crept over the worldly ways, so bowed his beard over his knees down flowed. Quoth I, What gars thee so doubled go? Quoth he, As to me his hands he showed. My youth is lost, in the dust it lieth, and see, I bend me to find my youth. Now when he had ended these verses, he said, O chief of the caravan, it is not I who am minded to travel, but this, my son. Quoth the cameleer, Allah save him for thee. Then the consul made a contract between Ala al-Din and the man, appointing that the youth should be to him as a son, and gave him into his charge, saying, Take these 100 gold pieces for thy people. Moreover, he brought his son 80 mules and a lamp, and a tomb covering for the Sayyid Abd al-Qadir of Kilan, and said to him, O my son, while I am absent, this is thy sire in my stead. Whatsoever he biddeth thee, do thou obey him. So saying, he returned home with the mules and servants, and that night they made a khitma or prelection of the Quran, and held a festival in honor of the Sheikh Abd al-Qadir al-Jilani. And when the morrow dawned, the consul gave his son 10,000 dinars, saying, O my son, when thou comest to Baghdad, if thou find stuffs easy of sale, sell them. But if they be dull, spend of these dinars. Then they loaded the mules, and taking leave of one another, all the wayfarers setting out on their journey marched forth from the city. Now Mahmud of Balkh had made ready his own venture for Baghdad, and had moved his bales and set up his tents without the walls, saying in himself, Thou shalt not enjoy this youth but in the desert, where there is neither spy nor marpler to trouble thee. It chanced that he had in hand 1,000 dinars, which he owed to the youth's father, the balance of a business transaction between them. So he went and bade farewell to the consul, who charged him, Give the 1,000 dinars to my son, Ala al-Din, and commended the lad to his care, saying, He is, as it were, thy son. Accordingly, Ala al-Din joined company with Mahmud of Balkh. And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased to say her permitted say. You should stay tuned for this one. Now when it was the 254th night, she said, It hath reached me, O auspicious king, that Ala al-Din joined company with Mahmud of Balkh, who, before beginning the march, charged the youth's cook to dress nothing for him, but himself provided him and his company with meat and drink. Now he had 4 houses, one in Cairo, another in Damascus, a third in Aleppo, and a fourth in Baghdad. So they set out and ceased not journeying over waste and world, till they drew near Damascus, when Mahmud sent his slave to Ala al-Din, whom he found sitting and reading. He went up to him and kissed his hands, and Ala al-Din, having asked him what he wanted, he answered, "My master saluteth thee, and craveth thy company to a banquet at his place." Quoth the youth, "Not till I consult my father, Kamal al-Din, the captain of the caravan." So he asked advice of the Macadam, who said, "Do not go." Then they left Damascus and journeyed on till they came to Aleppo, where Mahmud made a second entertainment and sent to invite Ala al-Din. But he consulted the chief cameleer, who again forbade him. Then they marched from Aleppo and fared on, till there remained between them and Baghdad only a single stage. Here Mahmud prepared a third feast and sent to bid Ala al-Din to it. Oh my God, that's a child crying, I got scared. Kamal al-Din once more forbade his accepting it, but he said, "I must needs go." So he rose, and slinging a sword over his shoulder, under his clothes, repaired to the tent of Mahmud of Balkh, who came to meet him and saluted him. Then he set before him a sumptuous repast, and they ate and drank and washed hands. At last Mahmud bent towards Ala al-Din to snatch a kiss from him. But the youth received the kiss on the palm of his hand and said to him, "What wouldest thou be at?" Quoth Mahmud, "In very sooth, I brought thee hither that I might take my pleasure with thee in this jousting ground, and we will comment upon the words of him who saith, Say, canst not come to us one momentling, like milk of ewe-king, or aught glistening, and eat what liketh thee of dainty cake, and take thy due of fee in silverling, and bear whatso thou wilt without mislike of spanling, fistling, or spanlong thing." Then Mahmud of Balkh would have laid hands on Ala al-Din to ravish him, but he rose and baring his brand said to him, "Shame on thy grey hairs! Hast thou no fear of Allah, and he of exceeding awe? May he have mercy on him who saith, Preserve thy hoary hairs from soil and stain, for whitest colours are the easiest stained." And when he ended his verses, he said to Mahmud of Balkh, "Verily, this merchandise is a trust from Allah, and may not be sold. If I sold this property to other than thee for gold, I would sell it to thee for silver. But by Allah, O filthy villain, I will never again company with thee. No, never." Then he returned to Kamal al-Din, the guide, and said to him, "Yonder man is a lewd fellow, and I will no longer consort with him, nor suffer his company by the way." He replied, "O my son, did I not say to thee, go not near him? But if we part company with him, I fear destruction for ourselves. So let us still make one caravan." But Ala al-Din cried, "It may not be that I ever again travel with him." So he loaded his beasts and journeyed onwards, he and his company, till they came to a valley where Ala al-Din would have halted, but the cameler said to him, "Do not halt here. Rather let us fare forwards and press our pace, so haply we make Baghdad before the gates are closed, for they open and shut them with the sun, in fear lest the rejectors should take the city and throw the books of religious learning into the takers." But Ala al-Din replied to him, "O my father, I came not forth from home with this merchandise, or travelled hither for the sake of traffic, but to divert myself with the sight of foreign lands and folks." And he rejoined, "O my son, we fear for thee and for thy goods from the wild Arabs. Whereupon the youth answered, Hark ye, fellow, art thou master or man? I will not enter Baghdad till the morning, that the sons of the city may see my merchandise and know me. Do as thou wilt, said the other. I have given thee the wisest advice, but thou art the best judge of thine own case. Then Ala al-Din bade them unload the mules and pitch the tent. So they did this bidding and abode there till the middle of the night, when he went out to obey a call of nature, and suddenly saw something gleaming afar off. So he said to Kamal al-Din, O captain, what is yonder glittering? The cameleer sat up, and considering it straightly, knew it for the glint of spearheads and the steel of Badawi weapons and swords. And lo and behold, this was a troop of wild Arabs under a chief called Din Abu Naib, Sheikh of the Arabs. And when they neared the camp and saw the bales and baggage, they said one to another, O Knight of Lut. Now when Kamal al-Din heard these words, he cried, Avaunt, O vilest of Arabs! But Abu Naib so smote him with his throw spear in the breast that the point came out gleaming from his back, and he fell down dead at the tent door. Then cried the water carrier, Avaunt, O foulest of Arabs! And one of them smote him with a sword upon the shoulder, that it issued shining from the tendons of the throat, and he also fell down dead. And all this while Ala al-Din stood looking on. Then the Badawin surrounded and charged the caravan from every side and slew all Ala al-Din's company without sparing a man. After which they loaded the mules with the spoil and made off. Quoth Ala al-Din to himself, Nothing will slay thee, save thy mule and thy dress. So he arose and put off his gown and threw it over the back of a mule, remaining in his shirt and back trousers only. After which he looked towards the tent door, and seeing there a pool of gore flowing from the slaughtered, wallowed in it with his remaining clothes till he was as a slain man, drowned in his own blood. Thus it fared with him, but as regards the Sheikh of the wild Arabs, Ajlan, he said to his banditti, O Arabs, was this caravan bound from Egypt for Baghdad, or from Baghdad to Egypt? Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased saying her permitted say. And this is the last one for tonight. Now when it was the 255th night, she said, It hath reached me, O auspicious king, that when the Badawi asked his banditti, O Arabs, was this caravan bound from Egypt for Baghdad, or from Baghdad for Egypt? They answered, 'Twas bound from Egypt for Baghdad. And he said, Return ye to the slain, for methinks the owner of this caravan is not dead. So they turned back to the slain and fell to prodding and slashing them with lance and sword till they came to Ala al-Din, who had thrown himself down among the corpses. And when they came to him, quoth they, Thou dost but feign thyself dead, but we will make an end of thee. And one of the Badawin levelled his javelin and would have plunged it into his breast, when he cried out, Save me, O my lord Abd al-Qadir, O saint of Gilan. And behold, he saw a hand turn the lance away from Kamal al-Din, the cameleer. so that it pierced him and spared himself. Then the Arabs made off, and when Ala al-Din saw that the birds were flown with their God's scent, he sat up, and finding no one, rose and set off running. But behold, Abu Naib the Badawi looked back and said to his troop, I see somewhat moving afar off, O Arabs. So one of the bandits turned back and spying Ala al-Din running, called out to him, saying, Flight shall not forward thee, and we after thee. And he smote his mare with his heel, and she hastened after him. Then Ala al-Din, seeing before him a watering tank and a cistern, beside it climbed up into a niche in the cistern, and stretching himself at full length, feigned to be asleep, and said, O gracious protector, cover me with the veil of thy protection, which may not be torn away. And lo, the Badawi came up to the cistern, and standing in his stirrups irons, put out his hand to lay hold of Ala al-Din. But he said, O my lady Nafisa, now is thy time. And behold, a scorpion stung the Badawi in the palm, and he cried out, saying, Help, O Arabs, I am stung. And he alighted from his mare's back. So his comrades came up to him and mounted him again, asking, What hath befallen thee? Whereto he answered, A young scorpion stung me. So they departed with the caravan. Such was the case. But as regards Ala al-Din, he tarried in the niche, and Mahmud of Balkh made load his beasts and fared forwards till he came to the lion's copse, where he found Ala al-Din's attendants all lying slain. At this he rejoiced and went on till he reached the cistern and the reservoir. Now his mule was athirst and turned aside to drink, but she saw Ala al-Din's shadow in the water and shied and started. Whereupon Mahmud raised his eyes and, seeing Ala al-Din lying in the niche, stripped to his shirt and back trousers, said to him, What man this deed to thee hath died, and left thee in this evil plight? Answered Ala al-Din, The Arabs. And Mahmud said, O my son, the mules and the baggage were thy ransom. So do thou comfort thyself with his saying, who said, If thereby man can save his head from death, his good is worth him but a slice of nail. But now, O my son, come down and fear no hurt. Thereupon he descended from the cistern niche, and Mahmud mounted him on a mule, and they fared on till they reached Baghdad, where he brought him to his own house and carried him to the bath, saying to him, The goods and money were the ransom of thy life, O my son. But if thou wilt hearken to me, I will give thee the worth of that thou hast lost, twice told. When he came out of the bath, Mahmud carried him into a saloon decorated with gold, with 4 raised floors, and bade them bring a tray with all manner meats. So they ate and drank, and Mahmud bent towards Ala al-Din to snatch a kiss from him. But he received it upon the palm of his hand and said, What, dost thou persist in thy evil designs upon me? Did I not tell thee that were I wont to sell this merchandise to other than thee for gold, I would sell it thee for silver? Quoth Mahmud, I will give thee neither merchandise, nor mule, nor clothes, save at this price. For I am gone mad for love of thee, and bless him who told us ascribing to his sheikhs, our sheikh, Abu Bilal, these words they want to utter. Unhealed the lover wounds of love desire, by kiss and clip his only cures to futter. Ala al-Din replied, "Of a truth, this may never be. Take back thy dress and thy mule and open the door that I may go out." So he opened the door. And Ala al-Din fared forth and walked on with the dogs barking at his heels. And he went forwards through the dark when behold, he saw the door of a mosque standing open, and entering the vestibule, there took shelter and concealment. And suddenly a light approached him, and on examining it, he saw that it came from a pair of lanterns borne by 2 slaves before 2 merchants. Now one was an old man of comely face, and the other a youth. And he heard the younger say to the elder, "O my uncle, I conjure thee by Allah, give me back my cousin." The old man replied, "Did I not forbid thee many a time, when the oath of divorce was always in thy mouth, as it were holy writ?" Then he turned to his right, and seeing Ala al-Din as he were a slice of the full moon, said to him, "Peace be with thee. Who art thou, my son?" Quoth he, returning the salutation of peace, "I am Ala al-Din, son of Shams al-Din, consul of the merchants for Egypt. I besought my father for merchandise, so he packed me 50 loads of stuffs and goods." And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased to say her permitted say. That was it for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Joanna will be continuing the story of Ala al-Din tomorrow night, and I'll be seeing you next week. Till then, I wish you much love, much patience and strength, and as usual, remember to go inwards instead of outwards. It's good to be back. Thanks a lot.